600 just.
Oh, really?
Mm.
What a shame. Anyway,
It is.
let's get into our game number 3. Hello everybody and welcome to Game 3 of King of the Hill Week 8. And we have right now on a great 1v1 map, Faymanville Approach. It is our current king, Karl, playing as the USF.
Emperor Karl's trying to build a dynasty, but we've got an emperor himself of the Roman Empire in the northwest, playing as the OKW. It's Caesar.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Caesar has been a bit of a glass cannon in this tournament so far. He's played some very, very good plays, but I don't really think he's come off with massive results. He's been either very, very good or very, very bad, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. But I haven't seen consistency from him so far, so let's hope that today is the start of his new consistent playstyle in the competitive scene. And
don't get me wrong, I absolutely love King of the Hill. I think it is a fantastic format. It's probably one of the best formats and events in Company Heroes history, so well done to Dan for organising it. However, there is a problem with best of ones, and it's not necessarily consistency, it's also the RNG factor. And that's why in tournaments when there's a lot of money on the line, you do tend to try and lengthen out the series. So that is also a factor to take into account. That said, I also think it makes sure that this event in particular means if we see somebody go on a spree, they are truly top of the game and they're literally untouchable. So it's an interesting premise, and it makes for exciting viewing regardless.
Oh, we could see a pickup here from Caesar. He looks likely to get that rifleman straight at the start. Karl not paying attention there. A great early game pickup, and that is going to result in huge map control, hopefully, from Caesar.
So that was 280 manpower. Yeah, what were you going to say, sorry?
I say hopefully, because actually Karl is still capping a hell of a lot more than what Caesar is. So actually that's not going to hit him too hard.
For now. It will hit him hard. 280 manpower and a rifleman down at this early stage in the game. It doesn't matter how many territories you're currently capping. It is going to hurt you. It is going to bite. And that was just poor play. There's no two ways about it. Caesar got the squad wipe, yeah. He moved into position with the Stern Pioneer, great. But he should not have left a two-man squad vulnerable in that position so early in the game, in my humble opinion.
We've got
so we'll have to wait and see if he... Go on.
A great strategic decap, by the way, from Caesar. He's gone deep into enemy territory to get this strategic point that cuts Karl off from all resources on the left-hand side, making him now in the advantageous position. And they've sandwiched in the wire there.
That's what I was going to say, they've made a sandwich. That's what I was laughing at. Now he's gone on the other side of the sandwich, the bottom bun, constructing a medieval period brickwork farm wall, rather than the sandbag between the meat barbed wire section.
The meaty section of the green cover bun. Interesting one. Caesar is going to go for his upgraded HQ straight away. We're going to see whether that's going to be mechanized or battle grouper. Strongly think that it will be the Lukes in this engagement, as it will be very good dealing with either of the options from USF. And we'll eagerly wait to see what that becomes. Karl has already picked his doctrine as well, with Recon Support Company this time.
Nice, and he's going straight for the INR Pathfinders, so great little, kind of almost sniper-esque unit at times, really great at long range, and certainly good at picking off squads on retreat and getting up into your face in that regard. You can also set up the beacons, which I always think is a great ability. Decoy barrage I find hilarious. That's just a nice little unit to have on the field. Lieutenant out first, Dan, so he's possibly going to be looking to maybe get the M20 out. Oh, Stern Pioneer's in a good patch, though.
I think, interestingly, like, with the Lieutenant, I don't think it's been seen. He's going to reveal his doctrine with the INR Pathfinders there. But I don't know. Oh, Lieutenant, will it have been seen capping that point? I don't know. But you don't want to give your technique choice away. Do you know what I mean? You want to get that element of surprise. And Carl's got a great opportunity to do that. I do think, by the way, if he does, recon support is a great one to use with the lieutenant, because you do still get the AT gun from the captain tech, dropped with the paratroopers. So you kind of cover yourself across the tiers by going for this, and it gives you more fuel space to either go for upgrades on your infantry or to go for early teching into things like the Sherman. So it's a really nice choice to do this with this commander.
It is an absolutely great point, and we've got to have to see Cole really make use of the full usage of this commander that does allow him to skip a tier of attacking, because he has had that early game penalty. And Caesar, right now, although he did quite take full territorial advantage of his early game wins, he's certainly putting himself into a strong strategical position with the amount of material he's got on the battlefield.
Right, so we of course will eagerly wait to see what Caesar does. It looks at the moment like Carl may make the first teching choice. Carl needs to be careful. He nearly lost his lieutenant to close range Stern Pioneers. It would be the first squad that's gone down to those already this game. You can already see Stern Pioneers with 5 kills.
And the pip of veterancy, and they're about to climb on the kill count. The rear echelons are very fleshy and very juvenile, and they're just absolutely going to get smashed on that negative cover road now. So lose another model.
It's interesting. I mean, Caesar is putting great emphasis on the right-hand side of this map, and it's interesting to me because it's the closest to the USF base, and of course those infantry just going to keep pushing on the right side, but he also doesn't have pressure on the left. So it's easy for Carl to just, defend the left and just keep hitting with reinforced squads the right-hand side. So strategically, I'm not so much a fan of what Caesar is doing right now. He hasn't put himself in a good resource position so far, and may need to consider changing his strategy a bit.
Caesar's one of those players that is excellent mechanically and has certainly played a lot in this last year. He's cemented his stream, got one of the best kind of stream setups going on Twitch right now, and he's got an increasing viewership and subscriber base, becoming very popular. However, for my money, that elite level of 1v1 play, that's very different to auto match, that has different timings, different kind of emphasis, and he's not got as much experience to that. So his play here, where he's probably been a little tiny bit nervous and not fully exploited that early manpower advantage, has now allowed Carl to rebound, and due to his increased manpower income of 12 MP per minute after that rifleman died, he's allowed to bounce back now.
Well, let's not speak too soon, because Caesar actually has given us a little clue on his strategy by once again going for that decap in the center. And that really is important, because by doing that he's changed the focus of the game. It's not the focus for Carl to capture this point, and in the meantime he's now starting to cap and decap the left side of the map. He's got his MG covering the fuel point on the right side, so I think he's trying to set himself up for a kind of global takeover of resources.
Global takeover of resources, that sounds very, very sinister and very corporate indeed. But it does seem to be what he's going for now. He's finally snapped into action with his resource denial and capturing, and that was a very good kind of checkmate-esque position to put yourself on the cutoff rather than back cap and just beckon your opponent on you. Saying that, Cole does have the mortar, 81mm of Fury, thundering from the skies above, and it will allow him to break out of this Kessel.
Yeah, it's I have to say, to be honest, the game so far, 489 VPs to 450. It is no certain, lead ahead at the moment, because even with the resource lead, as you well know, things do go wrong in this game often. And there's no guarantee that any kind of lead in army value is going to be indicative of a result. So at the start,
unless you capitalise. I mean, these, as I was mentioning, unless you're aggressive after you've gotten a squad wipe, it doesn't count for much. Especially in the early game where there's no veterancy to wipe. It's just one of those situations you have to capitalise and push and be aggressive, and that's the kind of play that excites me as a caster and an event organizer. It's what I personally really favour seeing.
That's A quick look. This MG position on the right-hand side, suppressing the riflemen. They're supported by Stern Pioneers to stop anything from capping that very important fuel for Caesar right now. The mortar's trying to get itself into position to fire and dislodge the machine gun from its new bunker.
He's got to try and do something. Here we go. We've got our first airdrop to combat group. 325 manpower, 80 munitions to give him those vital support weapons he's missing out on. And it's going to really complement him.
Where is it?
Don't bloody know. I was trying to look for it. There it is.
There it is. I see it. Yeah,
so it's an AT gun, and of course the airborne squad themselves, and that really complements KotH's army right now.
It does, yeah. The paratroopers are absolutely incredible, and if he does decide to save up, he's going to have the benefit, if he wants, of double LMGs. The M1919s. They're the only squad that can actually still pick up 2 of this weapon, which makes them absolutely fearsome as a 6-man squad as well, with grenades. They're ferocious. And of course, IR Pathfinders, if they do lay the beacon down, they can also reinforce whilst fighting and on the move. So, paratroopers, especially with the new recon support ability where they come down with AT, it's such a bargain. I think it's one of the best things that USF has right now.
It is, and it's the cost as well, the utilisation. I mean, 325 manpower is already a great price for, you know, that elite unit. You also get an AT gun for then, if you add on the munitions cost of 80 munitions. Such a bargain. Makes this commander extremely powerful all round. Now, Caesar, let's have a look at his techie. He's still stuck with Battle Group. He's not gotten any of the trucks out as of yet, which is limiting him somewhat because he's currently under heavy duress from the indirect fire option. It only has 2 kills, but it's a lot of health damage and tactical wins it's getting. Oh, saying that, only a few kills. It's just gotten a full squad wipe.
Oh no, poor Caesar. He's really struggling here. I actually think that, you know, mechanized would have been so much better because the Lukes could have just held off this infantry much better than the OKW infantry itself are seemingly able to. That was a great mortar hit, and again, you know, this is for players that don't kind of acknowledge this, do you know what I mean? If you're going to take green cover positions, it generally means the squad's a little bit more bunched up. Generally means you take more damage from AoE, which is why mortar is such a good choice in a map that has so much cover here. So very, very unfortunate to wipe the whole squad, but absolutely because being in green cover, and you know, it's difficult.
It's one of those things. I mean, all players were always asking in Company of Heroes 2, as an improvement for Company of Heroes 1, can we finally have, please, units that stick behind cover in a well-prepared, nice, tight-fitting formation? And Relic were like, yeah, sure. And now we've got so much wipe potential because the models are so closely, nightly, and tightly spread. You know,
it is manually
selected.
You know, it's always where I go with that is that you do have the option of selecting different dots. And
well, you can't really manually select them individually, of course, and cover's usually the best option. I agree that it is manually selected in one sense. You can either be in cover or not. And sometimes it's better not to be, and that's crazy for a lot of people that play this game for so long.
So, yeah, we're seeing it again. The models very tightly clumped together. Will the mortar get another big hit off? Even the AT gun's taking some pot shots, and at the moment, Karl is looking like a very, very dominant player today. He's back, and he is on form.
He is. He's confounding things, you know. He really is. I honestly voted, because you know, I'm not an organizer or a referee today. I'm just a caster, so I had a vote in the Von Ivan KotH vote early, and I voted Von Ivan. I thought that he'd be a better option competitively, and I'm happy to be proven wrong here. KotH's playing excellently today. He's already dethroned J4Jet's Budding and Nubile throne, and he's now doing an excellent job of defending himself against Caesar's onslaught.
Let's have a quick look at the graphs at the moment. Despite everything that's been going on, KotH and Caesar remain on equal army value, so there's still everything to play with right now. He just doesn't, well, Caesar just doesn't want to let KotH get too far ahead in resources, but he is starting to push the map back very slowly. He's now got indirect fire options of his own, which, as you can see, firing right down onto the mortar. Actually, no, sorry, onto the Pathfinders.
KotH's definitely ahead, by the way. Those population graphs actually start in OKW's favour because of the Stern Pioneers being such high priority. So if the USF player catches up on that graph like we just saw, that actually means the USF player has eked ahead, and it will have been due to that mortar wipe.
A little bit to that, and I think also due to the paratroopers, which contribute largely to that rising up.
Well, a very, very good squad indeed, and obviously have a huge value. ISG's doing some decent work there, Dan, keeping this rifleman in dancing, but it's decided instead to full-on assault it and go forward.
Got an aggressive tier 4 coming up, I think, from Caesar. I would not like to see mechanized there, so I think we can safely assume tier 4 will be going down in order to defend the fuel here. Now, this is an interesting one. I think Caesar's defined the place that he is playing now with this decision, because of course he's going to be tying himself down for going middle VP and on the left side VP.
He's going to have to, because if just one Jackson later on, if he doesn't continually defend this position, is going to ruin his day. So he's going to have to literally skewer his entire army composition to the southwest. Just as we say that, seems like these Photos Grenadiers are pushing northeast. So I'm a little bit dubious as to whether this is a successful tactical decision.
I think it is. I think it's intelligent, because what he's doing is he's drawing the army to the right-hand side by this. By putting pressure on the right, he gives the illusion of his intent for the right, and I hope at least that will prevent Karl from seeing that tier 4. Unfortunately, as it sets up, it does hit the major, and the game is all now given away for Karl, who has the great option of going in with the IR Pathfinders and their off-map.
He can indeed do that and really ruin its day. Here comes the Sherman. It's on the field, getting a top gunner immediately. And the Sherman, it possibly doesn't want to go toe-to-toe with the Schwer. It will eat into a lot of health damage and then maybe get Fausted and then Rakettenwerft. And it's not something but you want to do. But if you get it together with that M157mm and the mortar, as he is doing now, and go on a road to Schwer Panzer Headquarters destruction, it's very, very quickly going to ruin Caesar's day and make a bit of a mockery of the job. But their mine goes off. It's going to have to repair him on the fly before he can approach it. That might bide Caesar some time.
Yeah, the vehicle crew isn't going to have enough veterancy yet for that engine critical repair that we see here. That requires veterancy 1. So there's a great chance for the Obersoldaten to come in right now. You've got the 80 gun Karl's bringing up to try and get long shots on tier 4. The mortar's raining down on it as well. But they need to repair the Sherman. That's kind of going to take the brunt of tier 4 suppression, so those 80 guns and mortar can do the job.
Ties the fourth resource was a famous quote from an older player called Sefer, and we're seeing that right now because Caesar was given time thanks to that mine. Mines win games is a more popular quote. Thanks to that mine, which has allowed him to, pretty much remedy the situation and get himself in a position to defend himself. That said, the Obersoldaten.
Hey, there's kind of like enough debris on the map right now that the AT shells are hitting. We've got smoke raining down in front of the tier 4 as well, I think to protect it. I think that was USF called smoke. No, it's not. It's not. It'll be... Where did that come from?
That was from the... surprisingly, probably from the IS... No?
Sherman.
From the Sherman itself. Yeah, the Sherman smoke, of course.
Okay, so yeah, USF, they're doing that obviously so they can go in, grab that MG. Oh, MG, which is decrewed immediately. But the focal point of the map has been set here. The Stern Pioneers are trying to repair it desperately. They should get a combat support package to repair a little bit quicker. But we do have a Panzer IV in the field, so tier 4 has at least been beneficial to Caesar here.
It's produced one child indeed, and that child is the Panzer Mark IV, which is on the battlefield. And look at the onslaught of the OKW now. It seems that Karl may have fallen into a trap a little bit. Fausts the Sherman. He's in a great position to consolidate it. Main gun destroyed. The Panzer IV rears its ugly head from around the corner. One last shot. Kills the Obersoldaten. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, Panzer IV should easily be able to deal with the Sherman here. He could also look at getting the AT gun, which would be a really good pickup for him. The only thing he is, of course, losing is map control. Not going to be too difficult for Karl to recover.
Yeah, first shot wasn't quite as dramatic as we wanted it to be, but it certainly followed up and destroyed the vehicle. And Schwerpanzer mocking the rifleman now is nearly at 100% health once more. And Karl's got to have his head in his hands just a little bit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate timing. I think he really wanted to get tier 4 down. This is great.
Pathfinder's possibly going down. Danny's gunning for them.
Looks like they're going to get away, I think. And very unfortunately, no infantry there with snaring abilities. But KotH has invested in bazookas. Now, he's actually put bazookas on his lieutenant, which some people would argue makes that squad less efficient, having one of the rifles not firing. So, interesting choice when he does have the rear echelons there.
I don't know if you caught it. I was really hesitant to say it, by the way.
I didn't catch the Obersoldaten, no.
No, I caught it, but because I wasn't sure, because I thought my mind was playing tricks on me, I genuinely did. I thought I'd made a miscall, because I said, Panzer IV comes around the corner and kills the Obersoldaten. Then my mind went into a bit of a feedback loop, and I went, Genuinely, that's what happened. On your screen, everybody must just about might be able to see it, is the Panzer IV killed the Obersoldaten with its shot that was intended for the Sherman. That is a bit of bad luck.
Wow. So, yeah, unfortunately not to catch that, actually, but I did kind of think the engagement with the Sherman was more important. My apologies. Maybe we'll
No, it was the same engagement. It was the same one.
Oh, maybe I did see it then. Maybe I just didn't.
Did you have your camera in one of those kind of director-esque moments?
You hit the nail on the head there, eh?
Yeah. You do that every time I start shouting. You're like, right, now it's my time to be Spielberg. Here we go. Okay. Dolly 3, come down the aisle, please. Great, good shot. Okay, let's get the drone out now. You know what I mean? Don't worry about that. We'll fix that in post-production. We'll get the CGI boys to clear that one up. Tell them to make a notable so not dying.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's alright, it's always good to politely mock your caster in the most friendly way possible. Your
of course.
Is excellent.
Michael's just arrived on the field, and he's going to be the answer to the OKW Panzer IV. Would have been nicer to have had Herman the Sherman with him, but
Herman the Sherman.
Yeah, I don't know how that one works. But yeah, I mean, this is a good one because he's already winning the infantry engagements now. You have a look at the army values. There's so much USF infantry that the perfect complement to this is highly mobile, highly effective long-range anti-tank vehicles. The infantry have no issues here. And the Jackson is going to be, I think, the real answer to the tier 4 on the field.
Lieutenant saying that nearly bites the dust to the same Panzer IV. Let's check on the fuel counts of both armies. Caesar's banking 108. KotH's splooged his load and now has 48 remaining. So both players currently have a fuel in their possession. But all eyes on the M36 right now as it's gaining its foothold, getting ready to launch an assault on the Schwerpanzer headquarters once more.
Yeah, it's. I mean, he could, if he really wanted to, just maximize everything he was doing on the field right now, just be taking ground attack shots. Caesar's doing the right thing. He's bringing the Raquette in there, but of course, you know, we know that there's not much support. And I feel like Tier 4 has become a dead weight for Caesar right now because it's actually forcing him to play the left. You know, and even with these Volksgrenadiers going over to the right, I don't think KotH's going to fall for it. He's got too much infantry. You know, all that infantry, in my opinion, is needed defending that Tier 4 right now.
No, it's a great point. He's pretty much put himself in a corner, and he's having to defend it. Saying that, he did a good job of it before, but KotH has just seemingly got a tactical edge over him in a few areas, and mostly superficial. What would seemingly be superficial engagements. It just seems to be a little bit more astute decision making that is allowing KotH to be dominant despite some odds thrown against him from Caesar this game.
Another big hit from the Jackson. The Volksgrenadiers are pushing in for a Faust, but they're not going to make it in time. Tier 4's eating away at the retreating models there. Caesar wants to get another shot with the Panzer IV, I think.
I hope to get it, it would seem. Look at this mortar. 14 kills, veterancy 3, untold health damage despite, you know, the kills. It's been a superstar for KotH, and it's just allowed him to solidify his points, and possibly one of the tactical reasons he's been so formidable.
Very interesting. Jagdpanzer IV from Caesar, something nice. we don't see commonly on the 1v1 field, which I really like, actually. I do really like this choice, except for the fact that it's probably not what he needs right now. The Jackson is only... Yeah, I think he needs more anti-infantry. Infantry is a huge issue for him. He's already lost one of his 2 MGs, and you know, he's outmatched. I think this is the big thing. He's outmatched, and whenever he gets pushed off the field, it is so much more, so much easier for Karl to cap because he's got so many units. So reclaiming map control is difficult for Caesar. You know,
but if he doesn't have the Jagdpanzer out, that Panzer IV he has is useless. A Panzer IV can be harassed and harried by the incredibly powerful unit that is the Jackson. So now if he has a Jagdpanzer to back it up, a Jagdpanzer can dispel a Jackson and keep it at bay. So you don't see it. Oh, he's actually cancelled it. He's going the Orbison instead.
Yeah,
okay.
I guess the interesting thing is...
I understand what you're saying, I understand why he's done it, but it still wouldn't have been a totally bad choice.
No, and this is the key with this game. It's a difficult decision to make, because do you allow your opponent to steamroll you with infantry, or are you going to try and counter the Jackson, which is causing you problems to your teching structure, the tier 4? So a lot of decision making going on, and clearly he wasn't comfortable with that choice in the end, which is the interesting thing. So.
Also, he's chosen and locked in Special Operations Doctrine, of course. So he might be now going for the Panther Command Tank, and that could have been something that he said, okay, I'll get Olbers now, and then I'll get the Panther Command Tank, and that's more than enough to, if well supported, get rid of the Jackson. But also now he's against, again, a Sherman. So it's a developing situation. It's anybody's game, in all honesty. And all we can do is watch how it unfolds.
So, I mean, when that Command Panther comes on the field, I don't know, I mean, the choice between Panther and Command Panther itself is a bit weird, because the Command Panther doesn't benefit from its own veterancy bonuses, right? Sorry, the buffs. So it's kind of like, you may even just want the standard Panther in some of these situations. We see, oh, this is nice as well, Orbital Dutton equipped with STGs, so infrared. This negates the cover bonuses for the squads, so...
It's an awesome utility. It's a primitive infrared technology. It was very, very boxy. But in this case, in this game, as you Dan rightly mentioned, it can just literally defile units behind cover and make a mockery of their tactical decisions. Sherman doing the same right now to this poor Stern Pioneer squad. I don't know why it's lingering. I don't know what the benefit of that is.
Just been informed it might be halves, not negates the cover bonus, which is interesting. This has changed so much. It's just been one of those things. When it first came out, there were 4 STG 44s. No one was really using that commander choice at the point. Yeah, crazy. So, but I mean,
forgive us for sometimes not knowing how the stats. The stats change massively, and sometimes in other games you'll get casters that both know the stats and are charismatic, but those guys are paid. It's their job. We have day jobs. We can't both event, organise, cast, and learn it. It's literally impossible, unless my name is Imperial Dane.
We also have the added curse of the fact that whilst balance changes come in, the actual unit descriptions don't reflect it. So it's like British infantry still says rate of fire increase. Like all these kind of things.
Oh, Panther's coming into 4 now. It's up against the Jackson. It's up against the Sherman, which has just eaten a Raketen that has been verfed against it. Meanwhile, we've got an onslaught in the centre. Infantry pushed away. It looks like Caesar's beginning to get leery. He's sick of being downtrodden in this game, and he's starting to get a bit more confidence as the Panzer IV roars into view.
Yeah, it's one of these things. Like, aggression is sometimes the best defense, you know, making sure your opponent is not getting the time that he needs to reconstruct and come back against you. Sometimes it is really good to be aggressive. That Vet 5 Volksgrenadier, I think that's what you were reacting to there, nearly going down to the Sherman.
I had full confidence that you would say on the screen for me.
Thank you. All I needed was a...
Indeed. It's like just knock you on the head. Like you changed tact immediately. It was incredible, actually. It was fluid. You were at one moment making some point about, analytical point, and then you went, oh, and this one. It's great. Great work. Regardless, Olbers in the centre, benefiting from cratered medium cover. They're up against a huge army, though. ISG trying to provide supportive fire. Knocks one of the members from the AT gun. Meanwhile, we've got a very interesting battle between the INR Pathfinders Vet 3 and the Vet 5 Volksgrenadiers. Actually, bank on the Volksgrenadiers for that one, in all honesty, because Cruzy's told me recently that cover within a house is slightly worse than green cover behind a structure, so there you go.
there really is like so much to Company of Heroes in terms of, do you know what I mean, like structures and cover dynamics and
it's all hidden.
It is all hidden from you thanks to Relic and their fantastic tutorials. And lack of online resources, but we'll try and give you what we can.
Relic as well, like offensive veterancy for infantry. That was hidden for years. Right, we've got the Panther whistling into view. I don't know why it's whistling, but it is. Pushes away the Jackson. Sherman, M1, hiding behind the wall, aren't going to be able to dispel it for much longer.
Yeah, I mean, this is... oh, gosh, 5 Volks Grenadier down on that strategic point. Caesar's trying to be as aggressive as he can through the center, trying to distract... You know what I mean? Trying to distract Carl whilst he caps the map. And he might actually get some luck with the orbital dart on the right-hand side here.
Oh, wow. He just lost the Rakettenwerfer as well. He's having to man that with a Vet 5 first grenade. That is dangerous. Sherman roars into action, tries to take out the squad, whilst Jackson destroys the Panther. It careers into the building, explodes asunder.
Caesar's been really, really unlucky here, actually, because he didn't actually get even the infantry wipe with the orbital dart on the right-hand side. Command Panther down, Volks Grenadiers down, one of the Rakettens down, in fact the only Raketten down, leaving him wide open to an armor push. It is a real bad situation for Caesar to be in. I
think he got aggressive then and forced himself into a situation that he wasn't quite prepared for. Carl had all the answers, had the vehicles in the right position, had the mortar wailing fire from above, whilst these units were trying to go toe-to-toe with infantry, and it just didn't work out for him. And Carl, slowly destroying the Rakettenwerfer, is very, very strong in this particular game.
You can see on the graphs there, Caesar has just hugely put himself on the back foot after that engagement. And very unfortunate. And Carl looks like he's set to take his second win today.
He looks set to continue his dynasty. First of his name, Carl, a new leader, glorious leader.
We'll have to rephrase that famous quote. You too, Carl. You too. Not too much to say about this game at the moment, eh? It's not looking... I don't really see many chances for Caesar right now.
I feel like I can buy Caesar's deathbed, to be honest. That was really... It's just not happening for him. He's not had a good game.
I wonder what he's going to go for if he is going to stick into this game, because he's still getting plus 26 fuel, so there's a chance of a Panther or Command Panther again. I think Command Panther's probably a little bit too far away. He could probably just benefit from sticking out on a standard Panther, but he's not replacing his infantry. He needs to get a Raketten on the field urgently, because otherwise I don't see him being able to keep those Jackson and Sherman away for long.
Just remembered from Life of Brian, which parodies the Spartacus joke quite well. There's a good one that says, "I'm Brian and so is my wife." You know, just trying to get off the crucifix. That'd be a good one. I'm surprised nobody's said that yet. I was looking for that joke in chat. Heavily disappointing.
Cluster bombs here. They don't pick the best path though. Unfortunately, Volks Grenadiers retreat in a different direction.
They're surprisingly powerful, those cluster bombs. Have they hit you in a match yet? When they first hit me, it was devastating. I just didn't see the risk. I looked away for a moment, then everything was dead.
I've not seen many of them hit, to be honest.
Well, you have to be a complete... you have to be a terrible player really, in order to be hit by them, because they fall so slowly. One would expect to be very rare indeed, but not in my games. Jagdpanzer is in the build. I feel like it's now 15 minutes too late.
No, he's literally... Caesar is a time traveller, as well as being thousands years forward, you know, like here playing this game with us. He's also taken himself 10 minutes back to make the exact same build order that he failed to go through with 10 minutes ago.
I'm going to reiterate that I think the Jagdpanzer instead of, I mean, Stuka-Zafus would have been another great option, but that wasn't available to him. Jagdpanzer, long-range anti-tank on this map would have been fantastic, because it would have allowed his infantry to get a bit more up in KotH's face. As it was, they weren't able to do that. They were harassed, harried by the Sherman. The Jackson kept the Panzer IV out of the game. The Panzer IV's done nothing, by the way, in the past 10 minutes. So I think to just allow his Panzer IV into the game, to allow his infantry breathing space against the Sherman, the Jagdpanzer should have been built, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure other people in chat may think the same, though.
I'm sure other people may think the same. You could have gone for think differently. You were more on the lines of, but I'm sure everyone agrees with me.
No, I am.
Because they are reasonable, sensible people.
Yes, indeed. And if not, I've got the banhammer at my fingertips and disposal. That's how the regular Twitch experience works, right?
Yeah, but absolutely.
It's a safe space.
Counteracting, well, potentially the Jackson is currently not able to come onto the field right now, just due to the population cap. Population cap for USF can be broken. It is worth noting, but the cluster bombs!
Oh, the cluster bombs cause a cluster hemorrhage of that poach grenadier. Sherman's trying to eat him up for breakfast on retreat. Huge shot goes in, couldn't get it, and unfortunately KotH didn't have the presence of mind to kill him with a paratrooper. I'm not sure about that.
I'll tell you, he was very, very fortunate there, because the MG gunner on the Sherman was actually firing at a different squad. Had it have been firing on those Volksgrenadiers, it could have and probably would have been a squad wipe. So things really heating up. We've got 29 VP, so hopefully we just see something really incredible from from Julius right now. Or should I say chicken?
Oh, yeah. Chicken, indeed. Yeah. He's become a chicken Caesar in this case, not Julius. It is very much a sad, sorry tale of a Tesco sandwich in this particular case. He should YOLO his Jackson, by the way, because it's only got 1 pip of veterancy. Oh no, he's going to pop cap, exploit it maybe? That'd be good. Oh, the Panzer IV has roared into action. Jagdpanzer also trying to take out the Sherman. Needs to get in the angle. The Jackson's been recrewed though. Panzer IV's had its engine damage. Will it destroy the Sherman with the last shot? No, it will not. And he gives him the tank.
Didn't even get the ambulance. Oh, there we go. A little bit of redemption.
This is the Jagdpanzer for you. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Would have been everything he needed ever. Main gun destroyed on it. It's terrible choice. I don't know why he's built. It's not what he needed in this game.
I mean, this has been very kind here. He noticed that KotH wasn't exploiting the population cap. So what he did is he traded him his dead Sherman for a Panzer IV, so he could get his second Jackson on the field and then cap and break pop cap with the Panzer IV. So he's doing a kind thing, actually, trying to help KotH learn the game mechanics.
He's been giving his opponent's units rifle practice for the majority of the game. The mortar's been practicing its range. He's just a nice guy, Caesar. Really nice guy.
Germans are on the ropes.
He is, yeah. It's kind of like I feel like he doesn't have experience in the tournament setting, which is why he's an automatch god, preferably by his you know what I mean, by his automatch ranks. But when it comes to tournament play, he kind of falls flat a little bit, and for reasons I haven't quite found out yet. But nevertheless, it's still a very good player and has given this an incredible attempt.
Well, that's what King of the Hill's so good for. There's no secret that there could be huge tournaments possibly or not possibly coming up later this year. And giving these players this stressful best-of-1 scenario where everything's on the line gives them the testing ground they need. And unfortunately, Caesar has come up wanting in this case.
GG, and that means KotH continues his reign as king. Alright, a good game 3, and we are ready and raring to pick our next player to play against KotH.
There is no time to further wait, to think of Caesar and commiserate before it is too late. It is now time to spin The pinwheel. We've got
The Wheel of Fate. Hey, how did you miss that?
It was a joke. Why are you taking my? You
Oh,
never
come on.
understand
No.
when I'm joking. I deliberately didn't.
You're
rhyme
doing
to
an
everybody
excellent recovery. I'll give you.
No,
that
I'm not. It was my poem, and I purposely pissed everybody off by not making it rhyme, and you took the bait. There you go, it rhymed again. But, you were the exact reaction I wanted. I got it, so thank you.
All right. Yeah. Okay.